prize in their respective fields and also serve as co-chairs of this week's Met Gala. Please welcome to the show Anna Wintour and A$AP Rocky, everybody. Of you. Anna, you've been here before. Rocky, it's your first time. We're just thrilled to have you.
Oh, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
And what a week to have you. I just want to say congratulations are in order. I just feel as though Monday's Met Ball was a triumph. I hope you both feel the same.
Well, thank you, Seth, but we missed you.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say.
You were intimidated by the dress code.
I 100% was intimidated by the dress code.
And the competition.
And the competition. Sometimes you just look at the competition and you say, you know where I belong? The couch.
Well, we still missed you.
It really was exceptional. You were one of the co-chairs, and I heard that when Anna first reached out, Rocky, you thought it was a prank.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I tend to get these prank calls, and, you know, I said, nah, this can't be real, but it was a dream come true.
It was really cool. You've been at the Met Ball before, but you've obviously never been a co-chair. So, Anna, you put together an incredible list of co-chairs. Colman Domingo, Lewis Hamilton, and there we see the group, and then we see Kamala Harris was there as well. This was a very good, Pharrell, obviously. How do you choose your co-chairs? What went into it?
Well, this one was so much fun, because I just had to choose from men, and I had a list of 4 men. 4 men, and they all said yes, so it was, there was no second choices.
And so, I have to ask, Rocky, when you pick your outfit, do you feel a responsibility to run it by Anna first?
Well, she told me exactly what to wear.
that makes it easier. And when you heard what she wanted you to wear, did you immediately agree that it was a good look? Were you happy with it?
She told me to wear mine, so yeah.
Oh, good. All right. That's obviously a very happy outcome. It did seem as though, you know, the focus was far more on menswear than it has been in recent years.
Well, absolutely, because the whole exhibition is focused on menswear. Super fine. Everything in the exhibition was designed by a designer of color, and it was the first time, I think, in 20 years that we have focused on menswear. So it was a night for the men to shine, and they did. I mean, the looks on the carpet, I thought, were extraordinary.
Lovely.
Do you have time over the course of the night to sort of take in all your colleagues' looks, and were you blown away by what you were seeing?
You know, I was just, like, happy that the theme was just, you know, menswear and just celebrating Black dandyism and Black excellence, you know? So I was in awe. And when I saw the other guys, I was like, I'm glad my outfit is the best. You know, I'm glad I wore it.
It's oftentimes...
Totally joking.
It's often on the red carpet we find humility. Yeah. You wrote this was inspired by your longtime friend and coworker, Andre Leon Talley. What do you think he would have made of the night if he was lucky enough?
Seth, he would have loved it. He would have been at the top of the stairs shrieking and yelling and fainting when he saw Diana Ross appear on the carpet. I mean, it was, I know he was watching us from above. It was a night for Andre.
I was wondering, I mean, I think he would have been shrieking, and I would like to show you some of the looks that I found most shriek-inducing, and get your bounce on it as you know, as co-chairs of the event. Diana Ross, I would say she brought her A game here. That is really something to see.
Yeah. No, and she hadn't actually been to the Met Gala, I believe, for 22 years. The last time she came was when we put on an exhibition called Goddess, so obviously that was perfect for her. And she actually sang Baby Love. I remember it so well. She ran down between all the tables in this incredible red dress and then just burst onto the stage and started singing. It was amazing.
Baby well, I hope she didn't try to run in this dress.
My baby love.
There you go.
It took her 22 years. How many people, you know, obviously in the photo, they never show the people who were actually holding the train behind the dress, but did she sort of have 3?
Probably 100.
Yeah, it seems like Janelle Monáe, this was exceptional as well. Explain the difference in the two looks here and what she just basically removed this to reveal this, correct?
Yes, this was a collaboration, I think, between Tom Brown, who's one of our biggest supporters, and the amazing Oscar-winning costume designer, Paul Tazwell. And she looked fantastic.
She looked stunning.
Yeah.
Were you jealous that you were not wearing Andre 3000's outfit?
I was. He stole the show.
I mean, it's amazing.
We spent the weekend measuring the doors of the Met at the top of the stairs to make sure that the piano would actually get in through the doors.
That would have been so embarrassing if they're like, Andre's still outside. He refuses to take off the piano. He's still outside. At least you can't beat yourself up, Rocky, because I bet you weren't at home being like, should I do piano? Should I not do piano?
Between that or a guitar on the back, you know?
Simone Biles and Jonathan Owens, they looked wonderful together.
Yes, yes. And she told me that actually walking up the blue carpet was more intimidating than the Olympics.
Really?
So we're going to put a pole vault on the carpet next year.
Next year she can flip all the way to the top.
Maybe Rihanna's going to go into training for the 28 Olympics. What do you think?
Maybe.
I also, you know, somebody with a comedy background always makes me happy. Io, I just thought just looked so gorgeous. Io Edeberry.
Yes. And
she always does.
She looks incredible. She has such style. And that was Ferragamo, a young British designer called Maximilian Davis, and I thought she looked incredible. Well, everyone looked incredible.
I love her.
Yeah, it's a fantastic look. All right, I have a lot more to ask about the night and what actually happened once people got past the red carpet. More with Anna and Rocky right after this. We're back with Anna Wintour and ASAP Rocky, everybody. We're talking about the incredible Met Ball. And you were mentioning 22 years ago, Diana Ross saying this year, I mean, again, this is a surprise to people who are attending. They do not know who's going to perform.
No, we try and keep it under wraps. And we were so lucky this year in that Usher agreed to perform, and I have to say he was so generous. He flew in the day of the Met from Berlin. He was locked in the basement of the museum, so no one could see him, and then we had to close the temple while he rehearsed. Then he dashed outside and did the carpet, and then dashed backstage and came out as this incredible surprise. Was amazing, didn't you think?
I thought he was incredible.
It was like unbelievable. And then he introduced our second surprise, who was Stevie Wonder.
Wow.
Which was unbelievable.
I mean, it's a very hard room to surprise.
They were stunned.
Yeah.
They were stunned. And then he flew back to London, that right after the show.
Oh my God.
To perform in London on Tuesday. So,
that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you say that, I actually can picture Usher literally just physically flying off stage.
Yeah.
Like at the end.
Legend has it is that he rode roller skates to his next gig, because you know.
Hey, so there was some breaking news with you and your partner Rihanna on the carpet. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Rihanna and Rocky and I and some other people actually had dinner the night before the Met, and he was dropping all these hints, and I was being really English and not saying anything.
She didn't pick him up.
No, I did, but I was being polite.
So your first two kids have R names. Yes. Obviously, you and Rihanna have R names. Is this a lock that the third will have an R name, do you think?
For sure.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, all three of our kids are A names, but the difference is only my wife has the A name, and nobody cares what my initial was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any of your kids named ASAP by chance?
You know what? I've been looking for a reason to go back to the lab, and I mean, ASAP Myers,
Sounds
pretty
good.
close, actually.
Right.
Yeah, right? This is also very cool. There were 4 different Vogue covers with the 4 different hosts, the co-chairs. And this is wonderful. Was being on the cover of Vogue must have also been an exceptional experience.
Oh, man. I mean, a dream come true, and especially to share with all my co-chairs.
Yeah.
I look so dandy and handsome.
You do really look dandy and handsome. Had you not said it, I was going to say it. Also, you mentioned there's a really lovely moment of you talking to your grandmother in the article.
Yes.
But she actually came to the after parties?
Absolutely.
So this
Yeah.
this is your grandmother at the Met after party.
Yeah.
Now there's a very lovely moment because in the article you mentioned, you sort of say like she doesn't know what the Met Gala is. And then she calls you out. She says, I definitely know what it is.
She knew what it was.
How quickly did
Love your grandmother.
how quickly did she make it clear that she wanted to go?
You know, she was really like ambitious about going because she wanted to meet her husband.
Okay. And who is her husband currently?
One of the co-chairs.
Yeah.
Coleman Domingo.
Coleman Domingo. And was she lucky enough to meet Coleman?
She didn't get to meet him, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
We can arrange that.
You know what? I do think they'll eventually find love. I think, yeah. This is just like the first act of a rom-com. They're going to eventually. And now, Anna, you famously don't ever go to the after parties.
I don't. I don't.
You have a very noble reason that you don't go.
I live vicariously through
Yes.
Rocky.
But you feel as though your presence will affect behavior.
I think they're done with me. I'm certainly done with myself at that point. I go downstairs to the war room and thank the team that have worked so hard all night. And,
Just a shout out to that team. This
yeah.
is the amount of people it takes to pull it off. Really, really something. And now you hosted your own after party.
Yes, I did.
he
And,
always, he's just coming from it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how late? Be honest, how late did it go?
Well, that picture of me and my grandmother is us walking out of the after party at 8 a.m.
Your grandmother?
Yes.
Your grandmother made it till 8 a.m.
Yes.
What is she on?
Were you now you know your grandmother obviously better than me. Were you surprised she made it to 8 a.m. or knowing her was that just normal?
She was waiting on her boo to show up, you know?
This is a heartbreaking story.
I have a cell number.
Yeah. I need you to hook that up.
How quickly do you start thinking about the next one? Do you give yourself a little bit of mental break before you start thinking about the 2026 Met Gala?
Well, I'm actually thinking about Vogue World Hollywood that we're doing in October, so that's next up. But we plan our Met exhibitions 3 or 4 years ahead. So,
Okay.
But you're coming next year. so-
Can't wait. I can't wait. Also, Rocky, I want to shout out. I'm so excited. Every time there's a new Spike Lee movie, I get very excited. A new Spike Lee Denzel Washington movie, even more excited. And then I see the teaser trailer. You're in it as well. Congratulations.
Yes, thank
I'm thrilled.
Thank you.
You two are both iconic New Yorkers. I think, obviously Spike and Denzel as well. What was the experience like? When you got that call, did you think that was a prank too, or were you?
I tend to think a lot of those calls are pranks.
Yeah.
But it's usually a calling from God. It
Yeah.
was a blessing.
And you enjoyed the experience?
I did. It was an honor to share the screen with Denzel, Jeffrey Wright, even Spike. Working with Spike was incredible. People for my whole life thought that I was Denzel's, child. So it was only right to work with my, unofficial dad.
I was lucky enough to see him on Broadway, as you were as well. And it's so weird when you see anybody act with Denzel, you just think, is it even possible to forget for a minute he's Denzel Washington? Like, how did you feel?
I was fanning out the whole time.
Yeah.
But I tried to keep my composure, you
Yeah.
know? I think I did good, though.
Yeah.
I just kept forgetting, wait, you're not watching the movie, you're in it. This is real. Remember.
And tell us a little bit more about Vogue World before you go. What is the goal?
Well, we started Vogue World here in New York after COVID when we felt the fashion community was really on its knees, and it was such a success. It was a sort of street show meets parade. Serena Williams opened for us, and Little Nas performed, and then we took it to London because the theatres in London were really suffering from the cuts from the government, and that worked very well too. It was in a theatre, and then we moved to Paris pre-Olympics because everyone was giving Paris such a hard time and saying the Olympics would be a disaster, and we wanted to show that we really believed in them. And now after all the issues with Hollywood and people making movies everywhere but Hollywood, we thought it would be great to show our support there, and that was before they were hit by the fires. So it's on October 26th. at Paramount Studios. I hope you'll all come. I hope you'll come.
I'll be there. You know I'll be there.
You'll come.
I will be
Maybe
there.
we'll perform.
You know
I cannot thank you both enough for being here. I know it was a crazy weekend, a crazy Monday, and thank you so much for letting us all know what it was like. You guys, that's Anna Wintour. That's A$AP Rocky. Stick around. Be right back with Benito Skinner.